I was 17 years old, swallowed underneath him in the dark belly of my room. "This will only take another minute," he said, shoving, crying, "Stop!" He clamped a hand over my face. I couldn't breathe. Suffocated static blurred across the ceiling like a TV station I wanted to change. Rape feels like drowning in waves that hold you still. I was used to his shape-shifting, but not prepared for the instrument between his legs to become a knife that split my life into before and after. I spoke up 2 weeks later. Hugs and phone calls came from friends he'd scared away. Some others didn't understand. His friend told him, "She's just mad because you fucked her too hard." A teacher told me, "It's not his fault, he's mentally ill." A man in my family said, "Don't blame him. Every guy would be a rapist if it wasn't illegal." We met up in the nurse's office, the same place he'd brought me tea when I was sick, and months before, where I'd held an ice pack to his eye after his dad hit his face with a rollerblade. We sat on a plastic-coated bed, his eyes welled up in confusion. He curled up, fetal, and said, "I didn't rape you." In that moment, I believed him. I gathered his hands in mine and said, "I know." Second time I could have died, I was 27. 10 years later, Halloween night, Mike and I were driving home from a night out in downtown New Haven. I was dressed as a hipster cyborg, made of iron and irony. We were hungry and I had to pee. With a sudden thud, the truck bolted forward. I bit my tongue but felt no pain. And the windshield splintered into fractals, crystals, a hypnotic, glittering spider web spreading to draw us in. The silence cracked open when Mike screamed, "Oh shit!" EMTs came in a blur and I fixed my cyborg makeup. The car crumpled and my feet swelled up like balloons that couldn't float away. It was the second time in my life I couldn't move. Dragged into an ambulance, clothes cut off, stripped. But this time, it was to save me. I could now feel the pain in my tongue and, to my relief, still had to pee. I was in a wheelchair for 2 weeks, with both feet broken, and then walked on the less broken foot. A metaphor for coping, choose the lesser fracture. I knew where he came from before our lives collided. A house patched up with apologetic throw pillows that said "Home Sweet Home." When he was 6, his father, the social worker, pounded his face into the floor until it fractured into puzzle pieces he spent his life trying to refit, like piecing a windshield back together. He told me, "I have no family. You have to be my mom and dad." He said, "We'll run away to California. We'll have our own apartment where I'll write you songs on Post-it notes and our friends can smoke everything but cigarettes." He said, "Sex is an inherently evil and is an inherently hateful act. I had to punish you for making me sin." Last time I saw him, he gave me childhood photos and his diary, then jumped the chain link fence and ran off. Over the next 10 years and 3 restraining orders, he sent me song lyrics, threats, apologies from jail, psychiatric wards, and the anonymous sidewalks of homelessness. He didn't want closure. He wanted to cut me open and stitch himself in. This story ends in a jail cell 2 years ago where he hung himself after raping another high school girl, another body he hijacked to crash. I want to tell her it's not your fault. Talk when you're ready, because words are not seatbelts, but anecdotes can be antidotes depending on the poison. I still have all 20 of his Facebook pages blocked. After he died, I burned his diary and watched the sun rise from a trash can. My stomach no longer lurches when I see a pale face with curling lips or green eyes that x-ray my thoughts. But when a stranger demands that I get in his car or trails me down the street like I'm a $20 bill in the wind, or I'm riding a car that jolts too sudden, I remember I'm not a cyborg on Halloween, half human, half untouchable machine. I'm just a passenger in a body that doesn't belong to me.
Yeah.